Afternoon, everybody. Keith Engle here for TGI Sports Talks MLB update. Great to have you with us today. Beautiful Friday afternoon. It's a little warm, but what can you do? Want to welcome everybody watching today on, TGI Sports Talks Facebook page, our YouTube stream, our X stream, and also on Roku. Remember, Northeast Streaming Sports channel. Go to the Roku app. If you have a Roku TV, just look for the channel. Download it free. Lots of great content there. Quick programming note, I'll make this a few times. We're no longer going to be live. Let's Talk Sports YouTube channel. We may be allowed to share it to their Facebook page. Lots of great content over there. Great guys. Tanner D is doing a great job taking over for Dan Harris. But, the direction that they've decided to go in using specifically YouTube and YouTube only for content is not really going to benefit my specific needs. So we're not going to do that. I wish them the best of luck. I'll probably guest on some of their shows. I'm more than happy to do that, and I have no hard feelings with any of those guys, but I just can't put all my eggs in that basket when we're getting thousands and thousands of Facebook views a day or a show. 10,000 for the Sunday Stream of Consciousness a few weeks ago. All of our one-on-one interviews, 4,000, 5,000, 6,000, 10,000 in some cases, 12,000 with Tim Worley. So yeah, I just can't forfeit all of that work that we've done to build the following to where we have and the audience to where we have. So my apologies for those who do watch us on Let's Talk Sports. I can say, if you want to be on YouTube, then go to TGI Sports Talk and subscribe. And tell your friends, because I have not figured out how to push that, the growth there. I have on Facebook. Listen, thumbs up DDH, by the way. You are still thought of every day, regardless of this decision on my part. This is my decision to make. No hard feelings with any of those guys. Quick shout out to Ralph Williams at our RW Media. You can catch Ralph's content on Facebook and YouTube, specifically the Sports Corner, Tuesdays 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern on YouTube or Facebook. He does that with Smoking Jim Frazier. I've guested, I should say, on that show as well, and had a great time doing it. Also, my thanks to my guest this morning on 101 with Keith Engle. I expect this interview to get a ton of views. If we don't get 10,000 views, I'd be shocked. Brett Saberhagen, 2-time Cy Young Award winner, 3-time All-Star, former Royal World Series champion. Matt, Red Sox. We had a great conversation this morning. We had a little bit of audio issue, and I don't think we're having it now from the sounds of it. Sometimes that happens when there's issues on the other side. And I had to do some stuff with his audio, which might have affected mine. But anyway, I guess we're okay. So it wasn't terrible. I rewatched it. I apologize. It's a little bit inconvenient. In talking with Candace, and by the way, make sure couple of public service announcements, right? We want to make sure, in addition to Sage Wings, which we'll talk about in a second, this is the last weekend to at least go out and see. If you want to get out to Massachusetts and participate in the Ted Williams Camp Alumni and Friends Jimmy Fund benefit, this is the last weekend. Obviously, this is coming up this weekend. Make sure you check out that. If you can't go make a donation. Jimmy Fund is a great cause, as I mentioned. It started out as a kids with cancer benefit, and it's been helping everyone. And also, with that said, I also want to let's see if I can bring this up quick before I go on. I've got a lot to talk about today. And a lot of it is going to not be fun, So if you're tired of hearing me scream about pitchers, go away now. Nothing personal. Oh God. Let me put this up. Sage Wings. This is what we talked about this morning. I put some links on the page, so I promised Brett and Candace that we will, his wife Candace, who's a 3-time breast cancer survivor. That's the right terminology. They do great things helping people out with what they call toxicity, the cost of doing this. Everybody's been touched. If you haven't, man, you're the luckiest person in the world. I told Brett that this morning. Everybody's been touched somehow. You either had it yourself, a family member's had it, a friend has had it. And if they're still here, great. And if you've lost them, my sympathies. It's a hideous disease, and they're doing great things to help people pay for the cost of this. And they can use your help. And I've promised to continue to promote that as well. You'll see it on the TGI Sports Talk page. Candace and Brett are really great people, as you saw from the interview with Brett this morning. I had a blast, and it's a great cause. And you guys that were with us had a good time. If you haven't watched it, go out and watch it. And it's a long interview, but there's so much to talk about with these guys. I could have them back. I missed a bunch of questions. Some of them came up when I went to the audience questions because I saw them in there, so I didn't necessarily ask them myself. There were some that I would not have thought of that were really, really good questions and good points to point out. So anyway, let's do what we can. Plus, they've got a great board of directors over there with some great names, and Candace has offered to help me get them on this show. Some great names. I'm not going to bring them up yet. Some of them I've been chasing around myself for a couple of years, so it'll be great to be able to do that. With that said, next week we'll have Veda Pinson III will be my guest. His father was Veda Pinson Jr., who was a great Major League Baseball outfielder, and Veda has been trying to get keep his dad's name out there so that potentially he'll be considered for the Hall of Fame. Again, with some of the people that have been put in by the Veterans Committee, for Veda Pinson not to be in there, Veda Pinson Jr., I guess, I think it's a bit of a travesty myself. The numbers are there. In his peak years, Veda Pinson was a tremendous player, a great defensive player. Played in some really good Reds teams in the late 50s, early 60s, played with Frank Robinson. And later on with the Indians and whatnot. So he'll be with us. The 26th is not sure about. I'm working on Todd Marinovich. He sent me back a message, which I think was affirmative. Cool. So we'll see how that goes. Let's see what does. Listen, before I get into hellos and your topics, I got to rant a little bit. First of all, who's hot? Yankees are stinking it up, by the way. 3-7 in their last 10, 7-19 in their last 26. Please don't tell me it's since Stanton's been out of the lineup, because they were I didn't write it, 3-10 in the 13 games before he went out. Please. Everything I've been talking about is coming to fruition. I didn't want it to, but it is. The Red Sox are hot. They're going to be all in. Cora's begging management to go all in at the trade deadline. Still got music playing, don't I? Kill that. The Reds picked it up a little this week, 7-3. Astros 7-3, only 2 games back. The Rangers 7-3, but still 7.5, I think, back. On the other side, we talked about the Yankees. Oh God, Mariners stinking it up. Sorry, not the Mariners. The Marlins stinking it up. The White Sox still on 116 game win pace. I think they stayed even from last week. And I got somebody else written down here, 2-8, and I can't read them. We'll get to it when we get to it. And Paul Skeens, come on. Are you kidding me? Will you stop? You people that run Major League Baseball, that run these front offices, that tell managers what to do, and if it's a managers can't override some of these decisions, this game will never, ever be the same. Second time this year, by the way, Paul Skeens, I believe, taken out with a no-hitter. Not the first time, 6 innings, 100 pitches, whatever. But just the other day, 99 pitches after 7 innings. He just threw a 6-pitch 7th inning. They cheat the players, they cheat the fans, they cheat the history of this game. Everybody that I could see that I respect, including Brett Saberhagen this morning, I asked him about it, and he thinks it's a travesty. He would have never given up the ball. I mean, that's what needs to happen. I'm not for player revolt. I'm not for being insubordinate with your manager. Maybe somebody needs to just say, no. This is my game. That's what they used to do back in the day. We'll talk about that. Skeens, by the way, is he off to a better start? Remember Fernando, some of you are old enough, some of you are not, many of you are. My demographic here. Fernando Mania. 1981. Skeens is off to a better start. Maybe not record-wise, but today it's to be expected. But you look at other peripherals, and he's way ahead of where Fernando was after 11 starts. He'll probably get the All-Star game start now, I would think. We'll talk about the All-Star game and the reserves. Anybody you think might have got snubbed. If you're interested in the home run derby, we'll talk about it. I've lost interest in the home run derby quite a while ago. Anyway, we'll talk. And Drew had some amazing facts, which I guess I could. Maybe I did. I was having trouble opening it up again, Drew. I don't know why. We can get into some of those facts. Anyway, enough of me talking. Let's see who's here, and then we'll go on, and I'll talk some more. Drew, top team since May 29. I said, no, it's not the Yankees. Mets playing really good baseball. Where are the Mets? Might as well go to the standings right away. We're going to talk more about Paul Skeens and Major League Baseball. I'm telling you right now. This is ridiculous. They're ruining this game and the great history of this game. And they don't care. They don't care. They think this is the way to go. It's going to be an ugly hour. Where are the Mets right now since we're talking about it? Mets are now 2 games over 500, 6-4 in their last 10, 3 wins in a row. They're 13.5 out. But the wild card race is very, very tight and probably will be. Other teams, Red Sox, who I just mentioned, Alex Cora is begging management to buy. He thinks the Yankees are there to be had. The Red Sox are only 2 games behind the Yankees in the loss column. It's 5 in a win column, but again, so it's 3.5 overall. 2 games in a loss column. That's the one that matters. Can't make up losses. Can make up wins if there's games. What else you got here, Drew? Twins 23-15, Phils 22-14. Twins have gotten it back together a little bit too. They're in second place again, 4.5 back of the Cleveland Guardians, who are starting to show some cracks. Yankee slide has apparently not gone on long enough. It has. I mean, I only went back 26 games, 7-19. Paul Cashman gives Aaron Boone a vote of confidence. That tells me all I need to know, because he knows if he fires Boone, maybe he's got to fire himself. My God. Because it's not just Aaron Boone. I mean, yeah, Aaron Boone doesn't hold guys accountable, and I hate that. They need somebody to kick him in the ass like Billy Martin. Man, it's frustrating. Oh, good afternoon, Rick. Sounds fine now. Yeah, something happened. If you noticed in the beginning when I was doing my monologue in the beginning and, the intros and whatnot, it was fine. And then it happens every now and again. I know when Drew comes on, and I apologize to Drew, we were going to do our mid-season update, and then I didn't have time to kind of review the things that I wanted to, and I probably won't next week either, but we'll do it next week. I knew I was going to go off on this Skeens thing, which we'll probably talk about anyway. But then we can talk about the All-Star break, and because there's only going to be another 3 games, I guess, before then. We're still close enough to the midway point for us to review. And I thank you for your your kind words there. I have a lot of fun. I think you can tell, and it's almost all the time. There's very few times that I am not enjoying myself during these interviews. I had so much fun with Brett. His wife, Candace, sent me a great note on LinkedIn right afterwards that Brett enjoyed it. Brett kind of popped out on me real quick. I like to have a little chat afterwards to kind of properly thank them, but Brett was tremendous. And I will have Brett back on probably. We thought a lot of those, for whatever reason, we have a lot of these 85 Royals. And I feel really bad that I didn't get Buddy Biancalana's name in today as we were talking about it. The 85 World Series. What a great, and Brett kind of touched on his, even odd, or I guess it's odd year, well, even year, off year, if you will. Touched on his time with the Mets. I didn't want to get into the whole bleach thing. Brett apologized for that after it happened. When I asked you a question, Rick, about craziest teammates, I'm surprised David Cone didn't come up in there, because Cone was part of that, and Cone was part of something even a little more salacious at the time, if you remember. And if you don't, Drew probably does. And again, things were going well. I didn't want to get into it because we really wanted to push his it didn't feel right at that time. He was great. Listen, I wasn't just blowing smoke either. In his good years, he's as good as any pitcher. I shouldn't say any pitcher, but he was Hall of Fame caliber pitcher in his good years. If he had more of those years, which I guess that's, again, I said something similar a few weeks ago that sounded stupid after I said it. Yes, if he had more good years, he'd be in a Hall of Fame, but he was a Hall of Fame caliber player, and his health was what contributed to a lot of his issues, as far as that even odd year thing, and whatever. He was a fine baseball player. By the way, today, and by today's standards, he'd be a Hall of Fame candidate for sure. Red Sox best of last 10, 8-2, Tigers and Twins, Rangers, Phillies 7-3. I got them all down here. Not helping the Rangers a lot. Rangers still 7 back. I told you guys, the Mariners and Rangers, now the Rangers are behind the Astros, that they would rue the day they did not put their foot on their throat and put them out of their misery. The Astros are going to be very active this month, guaranteed. Angels, Marlins, nobody even cares anymore, do they? 2-8. Angels are a mess. Ron Washington, I feel really bad for. Marlins deserve what they get. They had a general manager. What was her name? I can't remember her name now. Asian woman who they fired in the offseason after having a great year last year. Skip Shoemaker's probably going to be out of there. Stoolmaker, whatever his name is. What is his name? Now I got to know his name. Oh, why do I have to say that name wrong all the time? Where's my list of managers? I didn't bring it up. Are you kidding me? I didn't bring it up. I always bring it up. Oh God, where is he? There's certain, Shoemaker. Did I say it wrong? I thought I said it right the first time. I don't know. Cubs have a best win streak at 4. Nationals losing 5 in a row. Nationals are probably going to return to form here, if you will. No outrage over Paul Skeens. Why does this audience? Well, maybe it's because we're all just tired of talking about it. I don't know. Listen, I don't want to take out my frustrations on you guys. There needs to be more outrage about this, and the players maybe need to make outrage about this, because you took history out of my hands. If I'm Paul Skeens, I know he let his manager off the hook. Do you think for 1 second he wanted to come out of that game? I'm not for player revolt. Please But come on. This is baseball. This isn't freaking T-ball. Kevin Kernan had a great analogy. I mean, again, would anybody break any records the way we play sports today because of load management? So we won't have guys approach, the all-time points record in the NBA. We won't have guys approach the no-hitter mark because they're not going to get a chance to do it, or 300 wins, or 4,000 strikeouts, or they'll get a chance to approach 700 home runs, though, because we keep putting in rules for the offensive side. And we baby pitchers. And we baby pitchers, but then we don't baby them. Because we take them out, we tell them now, but as opposed to when I first started bitching about this, now it's just go out there and throw as hard as you can for as long as you can. And I hope that God Paul Skeens stays healthy. By the way, if you don't know, his girlfriend is Olivia Dunn, gymnast from LSU, and social media. I don't know if we call it influencer. I don't know what her title would be. She's all over social media. Pretty girl. Good to be young. I say that, just in all deference to my wife. Drew wants to talk baseball. Only team with a run differential over 100 are the Phillies at 123. Best home record of Phillies. Worst, of course, of White Sox. Come on, White Sox. I want somebody to make a run of 121 losses. This has turned out to be another baseball season, except for Aaron Judge. I'm finding very little to root for here. And you destroy my excitement over the game when you pull guys out of no-hitters. I'm sorry. Baseball is about building suspense, building to the moment, right? Building to the last out of a no-hitter, last out of a perfect game. No more. Can you imagine Nolan Ryan coming out of that game? Watch Nolan Ryan pitch complete games with blood dripping out of his mouth. Judy Phillips, hi, how are you? What is that emoji? I can't see it. Or you give me the finger. No, you're not. What is that? Good to have you with us, Judy. I certainly hope you're still with us. I'll give you a compliment. I'll give your Red Sox a nice compliment. Playing great baseball right now. They're probably going to be buyers, and they're going to be in the wild card race. It looks for a while. Every year I try to bury them because I picked them to finish last. Every year I try to bury them. They play well. So you should root for me to pick them to finish last every year. He had a great laugh. Brett has he's got a great sense of humor. Some of it was kind of dry, and then sometimes it wasn't. I was surprised he didn't bring up Cone, but the guys that he did mention made sense. I liked his response too when I asked about, when they get together to play golf, and he said Charlie Leibrandt sets their handicaps to what he thinks they should be. Never let a left-hander keep score. Never. Really appreciate Brett. There it is. Kim, I won't be able to say her name, Drew. Ning. I know you don't say the N, right? It's really, I remember because I use the pronunciation thing on Google all the time. And then by the time I go to say the name, I can't do it. Now that pitchers warm up their arms, only 2 players above OPS, above 1,000. Judge and Ohtani. Judge is having a fabulous year. No, I don't think he's going to break Bonds' record before I get asked. Could chase his own American League record. But I don't think he's going to chase Bonds. He could maybe. He's got Soto behind him now. But if the rest of his lineup doesn't hit, I'm not pitching either one of those guys. There's Drew's bailing me out here. Kim, this is what the Marlins do, right? They get better, and then they fire their GM. I can't believe Schumacher stick around much longer. Why would you? Why would you? Not surprised they did it since they've been babying him for the past year. Again, that's my point, though, Drew. That's a lot of my point. And how much? He just threw 6. And I don't care if that was his most pitches ever. I really don't care. None of that is relevant to me when you've got history on the line. And they want to pitch him every 6 or 7 days. Make it even worse. You wonder why these guys get hurt, right? You wonder why they get hurt. Because they baby him up to this point, as Drew says. Again, these are all the points that I've been making since I started doing commentary on this show. Or the TGI Sports Talk in general. Not this show, but all my shows. How many vlogs did I do about this nonsense? I never once in I would tell. So don't think in my anger that I'm surprised. I'm not surprised at all. Figured it was going to happen. I'm shocked Blanco got the pitch. He only threw 105 pitches, I think, in his no-hitter earlier this year. But to me, none of that's relevant. He pitched a very easy 7th inning. They could have easily put him out there. And who's to say he doesn't get out of there in 20 more pitches? 109 pitches are going to make that much of a difference more than 99. I'm sorry, that 20 more would be 119. My bad. That's my Perth math again. It's still ridiculous. They've been baby. I guarantee he's been babied since he just got to the Pirates last year, right? They protect them the wrong way. They protect them and don't pitch them every 6 or 7 days. That's not normal for pitchers, by the way. Then they say go out there and throw as hard as you can for as long as you can. Yeah, save his arm. Save his arm. For what, Drew? Save his arm for what? These guys all love getting hurt anyway. Mets baby Matt Harvey. What happened? The Nationals babied Steven Strasburg. What happened? The idea is to pitch more and make your arm stronger. They're doing it exactly backwards. And I'm unsure if you're defending these guys or not. I mean, maybe you're just making, the case of why they're doing it. There is no case. They're the ones risking these guys' careers. Not to mention taking a chance at history away from them, the fans, their franchise. This is what you want to watch? I'm about ready to turn baseball off. Nerds have taken over the game. Kevin Kernan says it right every single time. Follow Kevin Kernan. Read him in ball9.com. The nerds are ruining baseball. Sorry. Anybody who follows the analytics, you fall into that group. I'm not apologizing to any of you. Anybody who's going to defend the way they, and I don't know if that's you or not, Drew, and it doesn't matter at this point. Anybody who's going to defend the way this was handled or handled up to this point so they felt they had to do this, you're wrong. They're wrecking this game. If you like it the way it is, great, watch it. But there's a reason baseball viewership is down. This is one of them. We don't get great moments. We can't have great moments. I can't have a Kirk Gibson moment in the World Series. You know why? Kirk Gibson, 1988, one of the most famous home runs ever. You might remember. I can't have that moment now because we have a pitch clock. This game and the people who run it are totally out of control. And somebody has got to step up. And believe me, the people I follow, and maybe it's because I follow people who think like I do, I don't know. I try not to. I try to get on any issue. I try to get information on both sides, and I've gotten it in this. But this is, it is. The nerds are ruining baseball. We care about stats that don't mean a freaking thing. All we care about is a radar gun, how hard they can throw, how much move they can get on the ball. Throw as long as you can, we'll get you out of the game. We'll pay you the most money, too. Don't ruin this kid's career. Steven Strasburg had a decent career, not what it should have been. Matt Harvey, not what it should have been. I know we'll blame Matt Harvey's attitude and everything else, but he's not the one who babied his career. Ugh. Yankee, did I? One of the best away records. Maybe we should play all our games on the road. Oh my God. What's that make him at home? Let me go to the stats. I knew this was good. See, sure, this is why, I postponed our thing because I knew I was going to go on a rant today. 25-15 at home. 25-19 at home, excuse me. It sucks, right? Lugo leads in ERA because Ronaldo Lopez, 171, doesn't qualify with enough innings. They both made the All-Star team, though, didn't they? Let's see. I had these guys listed here somewhere. There we go. Let's look at the All-Star games. We looked at the starters last week, and some of the guys we talked about real quickly. The starters for the American League: Adley Rutschman, Guerrero, Simeon, Ramirez, Henderson, Judge, Soto, Kwan, and Alvarez. The guys who were the reserves: Salvador Perez. He got mentioned as far as potential slights, if you will. Carlos Correa, Josh Naylor, Isaac Paredes. I don't know. Do we have to have one guy? I don't even know. Drew, you might know this. Do we still have the rule that one team, you have to have one player from every team? Willie Castro from Minnesota, Jordan Westberg, Bobby Witt Jr., Jaron Duran, who's having a really nice year for the Red Sox, Riley Green, Anthony Santander from Baltimore, and a little bit of a surprise, David Fry from Cleveland, the backup DH. He's played all around the diamond, I think, for the team formerly known as the Indians. A lot of first timers there, right? Castro, Westberg, Santander. I think that's what that means, doesn't it? Oh, those are replacement players. Excuse me. The first time players, I think, are like the most ever. It might have been in your little article, Drew. I'm not sure. Anyway, looking at the pitchers: Tyler Anderson, Corbin Burns, Garrett Crochet, Gilbert Houck from the Red Sox, Seth Lugo, you just mentioned, Reagans from Kansas City, and Skubal from the Tigers. The relief pitchers will be, those are the starting pitchers, by the way. Klaas, Holmes, Miller, and Yates. I'm not going to, you could put up a stink about some of the relief pitchers, but and unavailable, chosen but unavailable, Altuve, Devers, and Tucker. National League, William Contreras, William Contreras, Harper, Ketel Marte, Baum, Trey Turner, Yelich, Profar, not Jackson, but his brother Jurickson, Tatis, Ohtani at DH. The reserves: Will Smith, we talked about him being left off. Danny Fuller mentioned him last week. He is a Dodger fan, but he's not wrong. He's one of the better catchers in the National League or in baseball. C.J. Abrams, named from the Nationals. Pete Alonso. I'm a little bit surprised about Pete Alonso. He'll play he'll be in the home run derby, by the way. Arias, Mookie Betts, De La Cruz. De La Cruz has had a fabulous first half. His stolen bases and home runs, I think, are the most by one player in those two categories. since Ricky Henderson, I believe. I may have that a little mixed up in my head. Freddie Freeman, Ryan McMahon, who's had a nice year for the Rockies. Teoscar Hernandez, I mentioned last week. Jackson Merrill, maybe if Jackson Merrill's making it, maybe the Mets should have got, maybe Nemo should have been in. Ramos from the Giants, Brian Reynolds. I'll get to your comments in just a second. Marcel Ozuna, who's had a great year so far. He's going to beat up some woman soon, probably, and not be available. But is that wrong? Am I harsh? Am I too hard on these guys sometimes? Take this off of here. Where was I? Starting pitchers, Hunter Green. Damn, I didn't get him in my lineup the other day. What a dumbass. Imanaga from the Cubs. Ronaldo Lopez, who Drew just mentioned. Chris Sale, 12 wins, I believe, leads Major League Baseball. I said he was done. I think Drew was on the same page with me. Skeens, who may start. Listen, I'm making an argument right now that Skeens is having a better rookie year than Fernando did in 1981. Logan Webb, Zach Wheeler, but they'll probably shut him down after 150 innings. To Drew's point, Ryan Hensley, Jeff Hoffman from right here in the Capital District. Can't remember, went to school now. I want to say he's from Latham. I could be wrong about that, but he's right here in the Capital District. Matt Stram and Roberto Suarez, unavailable. Tyler Glasnow from the Dodgers. Where are we? Drew, somebody said something here. He doesn't want to discuss something. Where's your Canadian reporter today? Chris Afgrave has a new position where he's not available. I don't think during that. I don't know if it'll be every Friday or not. But he is working. So I was supposed to ask this question this morning, and I did message and tell him I forgot to ask at the end. What kind of food Brett was eating these days in Colorado. Probably elk. Looks like an elk kind of guy. So Chris, the Canadian correspondent, is busy working. Don't wish to discuss the All-Star game or the Derby since it doesn't mean anything anymore. The players don't try much, and half of the players selected don't play and are replaced anyway. Be interesting to see. And again, all-run Derby's nonsensical. They changed the rules again this year. Guys beg out of that. So far, only 4 guys have begged out. And it's amazing. It'll be interesting to see over the weekend how many more. It's not like the Pro Bowl used to be, but it has got terrible. There's too many guys. Anyway, I mean, how many pitchers did they pick? 5. I mean, you got 13 pitchers, I think, on each team. Why can't we play? Again, and by the way, don't blame anybody except Major League Baseball for ruining this. I'll watch. You know what I'll watch? I still listen, I go to YouTube and I'll watch just the All-Star Game introductions from 1969, 1970, 1971, 1965. I love to watch those guys get introduced. You better watch the introductions now, because if they don't wear their uniforms, you aren't going to know who the hell they are. There still is a one minimum. Well, that explains a couple of these picks. The trade deadline's another matter entirely. Really looking forward to seeing what transpires the next 2 weeks. You're going to have lots of buyers is what's going to happen, Drew. There's JB backing up Binge Podcast. Wearing that oil hat proudly. Skeens is officially starting. He'll probably pitch an inning. Right? Remember when they pitched 3 innings? They didn't even come to bat. Well, there's no bat now, but it is Latham. Good. I thought I had that right. Let's just take a look at. We'll look at everything. I mean, who's not a buyer? Who's not right now? Again, we got what? 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks till the trade deadline. And again, after that, guys can move, but they got to go through waivers and whatnot. I mean, how many sellers are there? In the American League, there's the White Sox, who will probably sell a lot. They could trade probably everybody. I've heard Crochet, I've heard Vaughn, I've heard Robert, I've heard all their good players. I don't think there's anybody untouchable on that roster. The A's will be sellers, but the guy they want to trade most, they probably are not going to trade. I'd be shocked if you saw Miller move, because from what I heard, they want a king's ransom. And as a Yankee fan, I'm not giving up a king's ransom for this guy. I don't care if he struck out 60 guys in 5 innings or whatever the hell it is. Because relief pitchers are fickle, man. And the Angels. Is anybody, and probably the Blue Jays. Is anybody else really selling? Every team above that, the Rangers aren't going to sell, not with the payroll they have and the guys they have coming back. Tigers, maybe, but they're 7 games out of the wild card. That's it. 7 games. Not even 7 games if I look at it. Is it? Yeah, 7 games. The Rays, Astros, these are all buyers. Now, some teams, again, the Yankees have done this in other years. You can be buyers and sellers at the same time, but is anybody some loading talent? There's 3. I can't see the Blue Jays. If they give up on the season, Schneider's going to have to be gone, right? So again, you got 3 in the American League, 3 for sure sellers, maybe 4, maybe 5 if I want to push it to the Tigers. Well, that leaves 15 other teams. No, can't do my math again. 9 other teams. Can't do my math again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 other teams buying. In the National League, it's even worse. Every team to the Nationals is 6 games, within 6 games of the wild card. Now, the Nationals shouldn't fool themselves. But the Cubs up 3 games separate the not the top, but the bottom, the last wild card. And the Cubs. So you might only have the Marlins and the Rockies selling. Nationals should, but what are they going to sell? Finnegan. It should be an interesting trade deadline, as Drew said. We'll talk about some of that next week too, Drew. I think even being a week closer, I think we'll really we might even have you on 2 weeks in a row, because then we'll have if I'm doing it. I don't know if I'm doing a show the 26th, because we're going out to Mystic for the weekend, Friday to Monday. So I'm not sure what I'm doing about a show that day. If I leave early enough, I may do it out there. If I'm on the road, obviously I'm not going to do it. Fantasy baseball. Is there such a thing? So far, I'm always leading a Friday. Well, that's not. Weekends have not been kind to me. Only forgot to get 1 starting pitcher in this week. That helps. And Drew, you are. Hold on 1 second. I wanted to see 2 things I wanted to see here. Bear with me a second. Never mind. Look at that. Drew, are you still in second place? Drew forgot to mention he's still in second place in his league as well. 13 games back. Tweeters are going to have a little hard time. Last year, I got off to a really tough start, similar to this year. But I made a great run. And again, with another day even in the season, I may very well have made the playoffs. It's going to be very hard to do that. I got to make up 33 points to get to 4th place. Better start having a bunch of 14-win weeks, I can tell you that. White Sox will trade all the good players. I think all is fairly small. I think I mentioned all the good players, didn't I? Who does anybody want? Let's take a quick look. Let's take a quick look at the White Sox, who are on 116 loss run rate. Let's see who's any good. Who do we want on this team? Andrew Vaughn, one of their best players, hitting 240 with a 297 on base percentage. His OPS is 692. That's horrendous. For a first baseman, it's worse than horrendous. He does have 11 homers and 43 RBIs, however. Paul DeJong, he's available. By the way, Paul DeJong, as bad as he is, 16 homers, 37 RBIs. I was reading the wrong line. 228, 277 on base percentage. He's got a better freaking OPS than Andrew Vaughn. Gavin Sheets will be available. He stinks. Andrew Benintendi will be available. He's not even hitting 200. Nicky Lopez. By the way, Yankees have a lot of guys in their lineup with very similar on base percentages to what I'm looking at here. If you want to know why they're stinking up the joint the last month plus. Tommy Pham, former Met. He'll probably get traded for sure. Jimenez, 5 homers, 14 RBIs. He's been hurt a bit. Even Robert's been out, but he's got 11 homers now, 20, but he's hitting 220. Horrible. I mean, the pitcher, Crochet will get traded. I don't think they're going to hang on to Crochet. Is he a kid? How old is he, Drew? Let me see. Fetty's pitched pretty well, actually. I mean, do they hold on to any of these guys that have pitched well? And really, they're the only 2 guys that have pitched well. Let's see what the ages are in Fetty. Fetty's 31. See you later. I don't think Crochet's that young either. 25, my bad. He's 25 years old. They may hang on to him. Fetty's out of here. What are you going to keep him? As bad as the White Sox are hitting, the Mariners are tied with them. It's kind of amazing that the Mariners, their pitching staff has been very, very good, right? So you can understand why the difference in the records. I just love that Seattle pitching staff. I really do. But they need bats. So again, they're in the market for a bat. You may see Vlad Guerrero if the Blue Jays do decide to trade. Vlad Guerrero is going to be available if they're going to tear this down, start over. Maybe Bichette might be the only guy who doesn't go. Let's just say the Blue Jays are sellers. Guerrero's going to have a number of suitors. I would think Seattle would be number 1. France wasn't having a good year. He's out for the year. The Astros already having released didn't help. You know who I'm talking about. Gosh. Mind is a terrible thing to waste. So the Astros, huge. I think the Astros and the Mariners might be the 2 favorites. Now, if I'm the Yankees, I want Vlad. But if I'm the Blue Jays, I'm not trading him to the Yankees. I'm not trading him in the division. So I think Vlad might be the big chip. Vlad, Robert, they might be the 2 biggest chips in this trade deadline. Myself, that's what I think. Abreu, thank you, Drew. Bobby Abreu, no, Jose Abreu, Bobby Abreu. Bobby Abreu, I think, could play for the White Sox right now. Pretty sure. Let me look at the standings a little bit more. I'm still Skeens. If I'm Paul Skeens, I'd be all over my organization saying taking me out of that game was BS. And until some player does it, and again, I'm not a big on insubordination, but this type of stuff has got to stop. They are wrecking the game. And that's not the only place. God. If they don't care about guys like me anymore, and they probably don't, right? Although, I'm pretty sure it's guys in my age bracket who have all the disposable income that advertisers want watching the games. But if you want to keep catering to a bunch of kids who don't have any money, by all means, you do that. Moronic, man. And you can see why why baseball is not nearly as popular as what you think it's a national pastime. It's not. It hasn't been a national pastime for 3 decades. More than 3 decades. And that hurts me to say, because baseball stole my first love and always will be, but not this game. This game's like watching a video game I play. Orioles 2 games up over the Yankees. Orioles only 4-6 in their last 10. They have not found a way. They should have been running away from the Yankees. I mean, if the Yankees get together, the Orioles, like I said about the Mariners and Astros earlier, or Mariners and Rangers earlier, not putting away the Astros, because the Red Sox are creeping up, only 5.5 back. Like I said, 2 behind the Yankees in the loss column. Rays keep hovering around 500. Blue Jays 7 under. They're probably going to blow that up. The team formerly known as the Indians hanging on to first place. I think the Twins overtake this team. The Royals trying to hang in there. They've won 3 in a row, but they're 5-5 in their last 10. They're still 8 games over 500, but they've fallen into 3rd place. The Tigers 7-3 in their last 10, trying to get back in this race. I think they still have a chance. They were my surprise team. But when you send one of your best players, when you have to send one of your best players to the minor leagues, in Torkelson, no. The White Sox are the White Sox. In the West, things are getting interesting. The Astros only 2 games back now. 7-3 in their last 10, playing good baseball. They will be active in these next 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks. Rangers still 5 games under. They've won 7 of their last 10, but 5 games under 500. The Angels done. Maybe the A's and the Marlins may still challenge 120 losses. I'm telling you. The Phillies have withstood some injuries and held strong now, 9.5 games ahead of the Braves. The Braves are still trying to. I think the Braves will make the playoffs. The Braves are a team to watch at the deadline. They could get aggressive here. Mets will be interesting at the deadline. Because now the Pete Alonso thing, which seemed like a no-brainer a month ago, is not a no-brainer anymore. It was trade him and negotiate with him in the offseason, because that's what's going to happen anyway. But now they're in the race. Do you trade him? Go out and get some pitchers? Get a second baseman? Nationals have been a bit of a surprise, but as I said, they're within 6 games, I think, in a wild card, but they're 10 games under 500. And as Drew pointed out, they've lost 5 in a row. Marlins, they're just lost. The Brewers continue to lead the Central by 5 games because nobody can really get it going. They're 4-6 in their last 10. Cardinals did make up some games, being 6-4 in that time frame, but still 5 games back. Pirates hanging around. They'll fall back. The Reds, I would expect to be busy at the deadline too, because they're still in the peripheral of this race. 4 games back. Again, them and the Cubs tied for last, but they're not going to. Neither one of these teams are going to cash it in. San Diego now is, after pulling to 5 or 6 games over 500 last Friday and ruining it seems like they're always 3 games over or 3 games under 500. They're back to 2 games over 500 after losing 4 in a row. 7 games now behind the Dodgers. Dodgers only 3-7 in their last 10. Injuries to that starting rotation are starting to take their toll. Injury to Mookie Betts taking its toll. It's a dangerous time for the Dodgers, but there's nobody to contend with them. There's no Orioles to overtake the Yankees, right, in this division. Padres can't get out of their own way. Diamondbacks can't get it together. They have won a couple in a row, got to 500. The Giants, who I liked a bit, up and down, and the Rockies are the Rockies. Terrible. Drew, since no extensions have been signed, here's an article from March. It shows possible free agents next year. Very few extensions get signed. Extensions get signed during the season anymore. If you don't sign before they start playing games for real, it doesn't seem to happen. Can I copy that? I don't even know if I can copy that, Drew. Yeah, I can't. I'll look at that after. Just so you know, they're not clickable when it's in the comments. It would be for me or for you, because you can edit it. You can make it a hyperlink, but I don't think you can make it a hyperlink and to be clickable in the comments. You could try if you didn't do it there, but that'll be a good one for us to look at as the season goes on for sure. Let's look at the matchups and get out of here. Let's look at this weekend's matchups. Oh, we got some interesting series, or do we not? No day baseball today. Dodgers at Detroit. Interesting matchup. They start off with Paxton and Skubal tonight. Paxton, again, teach your kids to be left-handed. Strap that right arm down. Make them throw the ball like this. Oakland at Philadelphia. Philadelphia should continue their hot streak. That'll be Harris against Ranger Suarez. Do I have Ranger Suarez in my lap? Better check it out. Cleveland at Tampa Bay. That's a decent series. Carlos Carrasco at Jay Bradley. Yankees at Baltimore. Big. How many bigs can I say series? If you're going to have a big series on July 12th, this is a big one. Baltimore could really put the Yankees in Dutch here if they play well. Cole will pitch against Cade Povich tonight. Colorado will play at the Mets. The Mets hopefully can continue their winning ways. Tanner Gordon and Sean Manaea. The Royals at Boston. There's a very interesting series. Cole Reagans, fresh off an all-star invite, against Cooper Criswell. The Marlins at Cincinnati. Chinaros and Spears. Pittsburgh will be at the White Sox. Marco Gonzalez against Garrett Crochet. Texas at Houston. Big series for them, too. Andrew Haney and Hunter Brown. Washington will be at Milwaukee. Jackson Rutledge against Freddie Peralta. The Cubs and Cardinals, always an interesting series, even when they're not good. This is kind of a big series. Kyle Hendricks and Sonny Gray. Seattle at the Angels. Brian Wu. Is it who or Wu? I think it's Wu. Tyler Anderson against Tyler Anderson. Atlanta at San Diego. Nice matchup. Swellenbach against Vasquez. The Blue Jays against the Diamondbacks. Rodriguez against Nelson. And the Twins will travel to the San Francisco and the Bay. Joe Ryan tonight against Kyle Harrison. Drew sent that to my email. Take a quick look. So notable free agent for 2020-21. That's a lot of them. I don't know if we're going to get into this today because maybe catchers. Diaz, Gary Sanchez, big deal. Grandal, big deal. Jenny Denard, nice player. Austin Barnes, Navarez, Carson Kelly, McCann, Maldonado, Nito. Boy, there's no catchers. Catchers stink, don't they? Most of them. First base, Goldschmidt, Alonso, Rizzo, Bell. Yankees have a club opposite on Rizzo. I don't know what's going to happen there. I love Anthony Rizzo. My feeling is he's about done. And Goldschmidt, I'm not sure how good he is. Second base, Torres. Terrible. Brandon Lowe, Kim, Merrifield, Will Flores. I don't know if he's really a second baseman anymore, but Polanco, Crawford, Drury, Frazier. This is not an exciting. Bregman, I like. Yankee, he'll be a guy the Yankees look at, by the way. Matt Chapman, Justin Turner, a lot of guys on the downside of their careers here. Urshela, Davis, Young, Makata. Willie Adames, I like, having a bad year this year, but I like him. Tim Anderson, Dunn, Rosario, Batijon. Outfield, you got some players. Soto, Bellinger, almost definitely going to opt out. Verdugo, no good. Conforto, no good. Gallo, really. O'Neill, Santander, he doesn't hit for a lot of average, but he's a pretty productive player. Gurriel, Teoscar Hernandez, who's having a great season so far. Aaron Hicks, McCutcheon, too old. Kiermaier, Kepler. I love Harrison Bader. Harrison Bader's a guy you want on your club. If he can stay healthy, numbers are, if you look at numbers, you think he's no good, but brings a lot to a ball club. Hunter Renfroe, Blackman. I can't. Blackman's even playing. Is Blackman same age as me? A couple years younger. Jason Hayward's still out there. Jerks and Profar having a great year. If he continues to have a great year, he'll get a big payday. DHs, Jimenez, Martinez. Not a lot to look at there, man. Garrett Cole. It's a big second half for Garrett Cole. He's got an opt-out here. Snell, he's hurt himself. He's going to have a worse market than he had last year. Verlander, too old. Scherzer, too old. Burns will hit it big. Kershaw, too old. Fried will hit it big if he hits the market. Bieber, injury, don't know. Montgomery, he'll be worse off than last year. Bueller, too many injuries. Eovaldi may have a decent payday. Robbie Ray, hurt. Cobb, hurt. Hendricks, old. Morton, again, I think he graduated a year behind me. Manaya, Waka, again, not Severino, Montas, Paxton, Flaherty. Patrick Corbin. Why is Patrick Corbin in the major leagues? Left-handed. Relief pitchers, Jansen, Presley, oh God, Kimbrel, Neris, Ottavino, Chapman. Oh man, this is not a great free agent class. Not great at all. Now coming up after that, Vermulto, Perez, who might be too old by then, but I'm not going to go through this whole thing again. Anyway, there's a few names. I don't know. Does that sound like a great free agent class to you guys? Not to me. I don't know. What do you got here, Drew? The Phils just released Whit Merrifield. Didn't even know he was still there. I did. There's a guy who was a very valuable player, both in real baseball and in fantasy baseball for quite a while. And he's kind of fallen off the map the last couple of years. Lost all his pop, really. Doesn't run like he did. Bellinger just got injured, so there goes the trade chip for the Cubbies. Cubbies, again, they would have been a team that might have bought and sold at the same time because they're not going to sell the this. Senga hurt. I mean, all these guys. Devin Williams hurt. Robbie Ray hurt. Liam Hendricks. Oh, coming back. I see. I thought these was from the injury list. If Senga comes back, I finally took him off my IL. I think I might have got rid of Devin Williams too. So go pick up these guys and put them on your IL because I don't have room for them. I get so many guys hurt, I have to drop them. Robbie Ray, Liam Hendricks, Vaughn Grissom. There'll be guys. Look, at the Yankees got a lot of reinforcements coming as well off the injured list and a bullpen. But I had a little dispute with one of my Yankee in one of my Yankee groups. The guy sends me private messages, and I think he wants me to say something because he knows I'm going to be honest, and I'm not going to just. He wants everything. He thinks the Yankees, I think, are the best thing. No matter who's on the team, they're going to win 162 games. when the season starts anyway. You know, I told him Rendon was a horrible signing. He didn't believe me. Well, it's true. And it's showing to be true again now. He asked me what the Yankees need this year. I said second base, third base, starting pitching. He says, they got lots of starting pitchers. Do they? How's that working out? That was 2 weeks ago, by the way. 2 weeks ago. Unbelievable. The free agent list does indicate who's like to be traded this month. No, that's a good point. But how many of those guys are really? I mean, let me look at it real quick again. Where'd I do with it? Where'd it go? Where'd it go? I lost it. Let me look at it real quick. I mean, how many of these guys are really going to be valuable? Denard might be to somebody. I'm looking at catchers, right? How many of these guys might be valuable? We'll look at this list ourselves next week. Goldschmidt, yes. Alonso, yes, but they're probably not going to trade him. I don't know that the Cards will trade Goldschmidt now either. We'll look at this more next week. And I think next week we'll have a little better idea even, Drew, because somebody could fall out of the race by then, I suppose. Anyway. That's it for today, guys. Hope you enjoyed the show. I didn't. Paul Skeens, I feel your pain. I know you're pissed. I know you feel you can't say it. Say it. Say you're pissed. All-Star break next week, so I don't think there'll be any baseball till we come back on Friday after Sunday, if that's the same schedule we've had recently. So we'll get a little break in baseball action. Drew and I will catch up on the season to date, and we'll look ahead at the trade deadline as well. Go have a beer and cool off. I might go out for, I think we're staying in. Last week I went out and had some old fashions that were they were good. They were not Vladimir worthy. As Vladimir, I hope you're watching. My favorite Costa bartender. Anyway, no drinks today, I don't think. Maybe tomorrow we'll go out for a couple. I don't know. We'll see. But today, I'm going to pizza night. I'm going to go relax. Watch a little baseball. You guys have a great Friday. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for Brett Saberhagen this morning. Check out Dave's Wings, guys. You're doing great work. And if you need help, please. Have a great Sunday.